Alright, there we go. Let's paint something. Let's be productive. How's that sound? Much better than arguing on the internet. What a waste of time that is. Don't do that. This one's not going to be a big thing. Just going to decompress a little bit. So, you know, getting into arguments on the internet is just not a real productive use of time. Ugh. My teacher friend just sent me a picture of a mint cookie. He said, I wish I could give you this. Like, now I want a mint cookie. That's not fair. That's not fair. Alright, so let's get this going here. Alright, got the 3 Marines we're working on. We did backpacks yesterday. Could do the fire effect on those. Coming along. Gonna do the shield. Gonna get his weapons done today, hopefully, and call these 3 fellas finished. At least as close to finished as we're ever gonna get. Just have to look for my right paints here. It's a Flesh Terror red. I don't need the Flesh Terror red, I need the Blood Angel red. Here's Cliffhanger orange and Blood Angel red. So we'll get this going here. Actually, instead of the orange, let's do the yellow, because that will be better. And then we'll hit the very tips with white afterwards. So, talking about the fire effect on that. Wait a little bit and see if anybody else shows up. This is the fun thing. And I'll hit it with the white real quick, and then I'll let it dry. And I'll pour water all over myself. Good times. Good times. Paint and get a little bit of white on here. So it's already got Wraithbone on it, but I want this fire effect to be bright. And Wraithbone is a little bit too subdued for a fire effect. So I'm going to go back over it with the... You guys already know I'm a big fan of this, but the Proacral Gold Titanium White is my go-to for a bright background. Just go over the top, and it'll dry pretty quick, and then we can do the fire effect over the top. And again, not too worried about the brazier, the metal part, because I will do that after the fire effect anyway. So it does not matter. Dear. Morning, just like so many other mornings, it just would have been better if I just kept my mouth shut and, sometimes you just have to say something. You see bad stuff going on in the world, you gotta say something, or else the people who do speak out, they just get what they want, and oftentimes that's a negative outcome. We don't want negative outcomes, we want positive outcomes. Or at least as positive an outcome as one can get in a given situation, which may not have any positive outcomes, but you can certainly go out of your way to limit harm. That's all I'm asking. To limit harm. Or at least be able to rationally think about all sides of the situation and consider that we might be doing more harm than good in our desire to do something. Anyway, that's just a thing we'll have to deal with. Alright, so that white'll dry. I do have some more. I'm gonna have to bust out the lead belcher for the hammer. This thing does not want to work for... You kind of have to hit the mixer here at just the right angle. Make it happy. I didn't do the normal advertising thing, so now no one's here. So let me... do that real quick. And then we'll get back to work. You know, just the mistake I made this morning was let somebody get into my brain. Normally don't let that kind of nonsense get in my way. Let somebody else impact my mood. That doesn't really work. Doesn't really usually happen. So we're gonna stream, we're gonna paint, and let it go. That's all you can do, because you can't force other people to change their minds. They're gonna have their opinion, and of course the research suggests that when you try to argue with somebody, especially with strongly held views, typically it just drives them deeper into their current position, which is frustrating, but you do what you do. Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked at... I didn't know. I'll have to check that. I haven't gone to my Ko-fi page in a long time just because it hasn't been there. One sec. Hobby stream. I haven't been there in a while. Let's see here. Check. So now that that's done, it didn't do any of that. Should be working. Try to use the link for it on Twitter. Just took me to the Ko-fi game page. All right, let me see. Huh? It does. Maybe I messed it up when I changed my profile. Let me log in and see what's going on. That one. Log in with Twitter. That's weird. Let's see if they show up in the search. Interesting. Might be something I have to tackle later. Check the inbox and click the verify. I'm not signing up, I'm logging in. Just have to remember one of my 15 million passwords. Maybe now is not the time. But now I'm curious. So I'll just drop the link here. Not that I'm... So you can let me know if that works. Double check that it should be a functioning link. Thank you, scammer. Remove. Alright, cool, that works. Awesome. It is up and running. It hasn't been like mysteriously shut down or something. That's good. Alright, what was I doing? So it's complaining about how foolish it was to get into an argument on the internet. Alright, let's do some weapons. Saving the fun stuff for the stream. Those are silvered already. Yep. Normally I know better not to get into arguments on the internet, but I walked into the saw blade there. It's alright. Every once in a while I can have an opinion on the internet. It's okay. Have a particular... Are you kidding me? Oh, wow. Thank you, bud. That's super kind. Unexpected. I see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's been frustrating a little bit to... I don't know if I want to even get into it on stream, but having worked with children for so long as a teacher, I anything that pulls them out of school needs to be done incredibly carefully. And we need to be able to look at a situation and consider all of the possible risks and all of the possible harms before we make a decision. And we can't operate out of emotion, because the damage we do to kids is long lasting. And I'm going to be super blunt. The kids are far more important than we are as adults. And so we need to be incredibly careful whenever we do something that negatively impacts kids. that we're doing it understanding that they are the most important people. I'm 41 years old. I've gotten to live my life. My kids are young. They deserve a chance to live their lives, and they deserve an education. It's in my state constitution. The kids have a right to a high quality education, and sitting them in front of a Zoom window on a laptop at home is not a high quality education. And so we either have rights or we don't. If we're going to take something from a kid, you better be able to justify it with the data. That's going to be the beginning, and I'll just let it go. But oof. I know we're scared, but we can't operate out of fear. We can't make policy based upon fear, because then we make mistakes, and then we start hurting more people than we're helping. We have to operate from a position of logic and using the data, following even just our experience over the last couple of years. We tried the Zoom thing. We tried shutting schools down early on when we didn't know very much about this virus. And we can rationalize that as because we didn't know, but now we know, and we have a lot of data that suggests that thankfully kids are not as at risk of serious outcomes from this. And so now, knowing that, we have to make decisions based upon that knowledge, not our fear of what might happen, but what we know about the situation. And I don't think that's an extreme position. I think that's the position that most of us should have if we're not operating out of a position of fear. But I really appreciate that. I'll have to get that downloaded today, Steven, and load it up, and maybe I'll do some streaming, because, wow, that's very cool. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm looking good. I still got to come in and do some kind of cleanup work, but the bases are coming along. Base coats and all that. I still have to come in and do shading and make it fancy. I should probably hold it under the camera and not off of camera. You know, that's a good thing. Good times. Just imagine you're seeing it. Pretend you're seeing the Space Marine. Pretend it's being painted really well, not by a buffoon. I'm gonna hit this helmet. The paint has flaked off the top of this helmet, so I'm gonna come back in and re-green that for some reason, or it hit something that was white. Maybe it bumped this at some point. Anyway, and what do you got going on today? Gosh, now all I want to do is play that game. I'll have to stream it. I might do some streaming in the evenings where I'm just playing games in the evenings rather than painting and hobbying stuff. But that's hard too, because I do a lot of hobbying at night. Once the kids are in bed, I come down here, and that's where I'm oftentimes super productive. So video games have kind of taken a backseat over the past 6 months. Let's try to get the YouTube thing up and running. Being able to produce stuff at a high rate of speed and quality. I don't get a lot done when the kids are home and need attention. So that evening time is valuable. Well, that's the same for everybody, sure. One more day of work, the weekend. Gotta do some painting and mechs. Absolutely. Always paint more mechs. That's a requirement. It's your homework assignment for the day. I'll be your teacher for the day. Your homework assignment is paint more mechs. I'll have to check. 3D printer is done. I just got printed some of the beast men from the one-page rules December Patreon release. So I'll have to see if those were successful. As if I needed one more army to paint, right? I printed the little crab robot legion guys yesterday, and they came out looking pretty good. I think I've got the settings dialed in on the printer to the point where they work almost all the time, so that's good. Don't have print fails. Then I switch back to the Elegoo resin from the Anycubic resin that had some different properties to it, which made the printer settings sad. Made it a sad panda. It's got a bunch of fails and couldn't figure it out, and had to adjust settings quite a bit. Oh. Be some sort of thing every time I drop a model. Just frequently. Atlantic's in the way. I don't know. Maybe once all this nonsense is over, the rates for shipping stuff will go down. Kind of crazy. I completely forgot about the chainsword on his back. Oops. Might want to paint that. So we'll base coat it, and we'll hit it with a wash and make it look all fancy. Catch the edges with Necron compound. And all will be good. Whoever thought it was a good idea to give intercessors chainswords needs a raise. Give that guy or gal a raise. We're good to go. Dropped it again. Strange days. Strangest emails during the days. The RTIC Cooler, I think is the name of the company, but they sell like soft pack coolers and like lunch pails and that kind of stuff. I've purchased from them in the past, but they are some of the most loyal emailers in the history of online marketing. You get basically an email every single day, sometimes two. I don't know who needs that many coolers in their life, but apparently it works, or else they wouldn't do it. I can only buy so many coolers, I promise. I'm not cheating on you, company. They make good stuff. It's just I don't need more than one lunch pail. Actually, technically, I need 0 lunch pails at the moment. There you go. Maximum effort. Painting under the arm to get the back of the sword. Maximum effort. Hold your breath. That works. That darn Atlantic Ocean. Somebody should drain that thing. Imagine all that free real estate. Just get rid of all that bothersome water. It's not like anybody needs water anyway, right? Someone out there would take it seriously. He's advocating getting rid of the oceans. How dare he? Alright, shall we do some fire? I know what puts butts in seats. So, combination of these two will give us our fire effect on our brazier fire thingy. Steven, are you clanner or inner sphere mainly for mech production or playing your personal faction? Might have to just bite the bullet and pay shipping rates. Send you some mechs. Alright, so this is a bit of a process. Basically have 3 jars open at the same time, and contrast medium will help us blend. So basically we're going to do a wet blend of red and yellow. And of course get orange in the middle, thanks to our elementary school learning, to get a fire effect. So starting with the red at the bottom and orange at the top, orange in the top half, we'll blend them together, and then I'll come back in later and do the white edges on that. So Kickstarter. Yep, salamanders. What chapter are these comics? Did I choose the wrong? Oh, I chose the wrong title. Let me fix that. Space Marines. Yeah. There's like 50 million different things you have to do when you start up a stream on YouTube, and it just wants to help you forget every single possible. But yeah, these are Salamander Space Marines I'm working on. Sorry. If you came here for Battletech, I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow, since I never really can go very long without painting a battle mech. Alright, so we start with getting it nice and wet with some medium. It's the wet portion of the wet blending. Always valuable. And I'm not going to screw this up because I'm going to actually pull the video from this and use it later. Actually, I'll set up there. Kickstarter stuff, doing stuff SLDF, that would be cool. Star League Defense Force, awesome. sitting in the car trying to explain all that stuff to my older kid with the Kerensky and all of that. He's like, okay, Dad, whatever. Alright, I'm going to multitask here and try to capture it on multiple angles of video. Alright, so that's probably dried a little bit. We'll put it on there. Start with the orange on top and be very generous about that. And with that medium there, it's going to stay liquid for quite a while, so you can get all sorts of manipulation. You can come in and move stuff around. So just getting the two base colors. And then as we get closer here, I'll be able to blend them together. It's like an ice cream cone at the moment. So you have a little bit of time to work with it, but the clock is ticking, so I'm kind of moving fast. I'm like not even on camera here in the other screen. Kind of a wet, messy process, but contrasts don't dry super fast, so you have a little bit of time when you can play with it. Get a little blend in the middle, and you have yourself a fire effect, which looks pretty darn good. By the time that dries, it'll have a nice little blend. Show it on this camera too. Whoop. Beans. Yeah, he's got video for later. Yeah, because I do a lot of different things on the channel, it's a little bit. Sometimes I forget to change stuff. Oh, today's a Battletech day, or today's a Warhammer day. Get sorted out. Crazy people messaging. All right, well that was fun. Close these up. Let that dry. Set it to the side. And we'll resist the temptation to knock over the pot of paint. Maybe next time, paint. Maybe next time. Like, we'll get you next time. All right. So, Anselm of Frisia. That's how you say it. Hopefully, that's how you say it. If you came here for Battletech, what Battletech faction are you a fan of? If you like the Salamanders, that's awesome. You're already on the right track if you like the Salamanders. We can be buddies. So I'm pretty much willing to be buddies with almost anybody, so we're all good. Mixing the bone, wraith bone, because of course you have to mix the wraith bone. big fan of Wraithbone as a paint. It's just super chalky, and every time you buy a bottle, it just wants to clump up on you. And this is with Flow Improver in it, and still don't have a preference yet. Well, that's one of the neat things about Battletech is you don't really have to pick. You can do kind of whatever you want, and there's no limitation. It's not like Warhammer where you buy Space Marines and you're pretty much gonna do Space Marines as a faction. In Battletech, you just have mechs, and pretty much any faction can use any mech, so long as you justify it. Like, oh, my Inner Sphere mech warrior pilots this clan mech that he or she salvaged from this battle. All right, that works. Whatever. A little bit tougher in Warhammer. Like, I just want to have a demon in my army. Oh, okay. I mean, it's okay if you're doing house rules or something. This is my Space Marine force, and it has a demon in it, and some Athari, and some orcs thrown in. No, doesn't really work. At the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, that's right. Green, black, and green. Yeah, I was gonna do the handle with a brown. Or you hit it with Gilliman Flesh or something, a light brown. It will be good to go. We'll just start to wash weapons. And then we'll say 3 down, 7 to go. Good times. The fun of batch painting. How's this drying? Looking pretty good. So I'll come in and I'll hit the tips of this with white after it dries, and that'll show that progression of the heat outward from the brazier. Focus. Focus, camera. Woo! Wake up. It's just going to stay focused here. Okay. Oh, there we go. Woke it up. Wake up. If you choose to paint your mechs poo brown with violently yellow stripes. I love the violently yellow. It's not just yellow, those are violently yellow. Yep, these are the bases for them. I love doing the bases, and so oftentimes I do them first. But all this is, if you haven't seen, I've done a video on this in the past, but regular base with thin corkboard glued to the top, and then covered with the Vallejo red oxide paste, which when dry creates a kind of rough surface. Yeah, it's like pinboard, like you'd put on your wall, but it's thin. You can get it in a thicker, like it's standard, it comes thicker, but ordered this thinner stuff from a big roll of it from Amazon. It was like $10 for this gigantic roll, so I'll never run out. I'll die before that roll runs out. But covered in that Vallejo stuff makes a nice hard surface on which to paint. So then prime it black, and then hit it with a red and an orange dry brush, So I kind of pick up it a little bit, but it gives it that volcanic surface look. So, yeah, it came out looking good. Pretty much do that for most of my models. Let's see if I have another version of it. Did the same thing, same sort of thing for this Minotaur guy. Again, just pasted the corkboard down, Vallejo on top. You know. And I'm not a competitive player, so giving it an extra couple of millimeters height is not going to make a difference for playing. I would never, hopefully never play against someone who was super upset about the height of the model on the... Well, I guess it would really only help the opponent if I was taller. We'll use the rest of Patrick. This got dark. Pad your coffin. Alright. This took a turn. Alright. Let's wash the weapons and then we will get stuff. It'd be nice if we could call these 3 Marines done after today. So we got some Fire Slayer flash. This is good for a light, if you're going for like a light leather look. It doesn't have to just be faces or Fire Slayer flesh. That's a nice light, very light contrast paint. So we'll do it on a hammer here. Some green snuck through. Hold on. I don't think I would use corkboard. I think I would... Let's see. Maybe we could just toss in all the models and just throw me in there. Or, you know what? Just use just empty sprues. You know, finally found a way to get rid of all those empty sprues. Just fill it all the way. And they'll still be around in 1,000 years, even if I'm gone. All right. So holding off on the Fire Slayer while that dries. Let's do weapon washing first. So we are going to use. The flesh shade, I guess, since I can't find the other thing. Wait, there it is, Agrax. That's what I needed. The old Agrax Earthshade. Do that. A little bit of aging on the weapons, good for that. I'm gonna chuckle about that all day. What is that in his coffin? Oh, it's all that corkboard. Finally found a way to get rid of it. He would have liked that. Utility till the end. He always did like being useful. Age up the weapon a little bit. Not quite so bright. I just love the grenade throwing guy. This is pretty much worth the price of admission, I guess, for the exorbitantly priced Games Workshop figures. Just the Space Marine throwing a satchel of grenades. Rocking it. My sons haven't picked a Battletech faction yet that they like. They just kind of... We haven't gotten that serious about playing yet. My younger younger son likes getting out all the mechs and playing with them and having kind of a fake battle. We'll get him going here eventually. Though I've vastly increased my Inner Sphere mech supply lately, which is a good thing, I suppose. So I'm trying to get at least one of as many mechs as I can, so we can mix things up in battles. And get all the Kickstarter mechs painted, thankfully. So I could take a break from the clan mechs for a little while. Alright. Get in there. I'm gonna wash the belts too, just because. Oh, forgot the gun handle there. And then I hit it with the brush. I'll give these a wash just for fun. And darken them up even more. That way when I hit the edges with the light brown, it'll look even better. This is like ADHD brain going on at the moment. I'm going to do this, but then end up doing something entirely different. That's how it is. Alright. Weapon time. I like my Warhammer models to be a bit aged. I don't like the idea that they would be like brand new forces. They've been through a battle or two. Their gear might be a little scuffed up. And that's okay. We won't judge. So I do want to do this fuel pack in yellow because we want it to be a focal point. Because salamanders should be wielding fire on a pretty consistent basis. It's just their nature. They're happiest when they're self-actualizing. Quick dirty wash, and then we'll come back and do details later once it is dry. Looking good. Bolter needs some love. Always drill your barrels. It's okay if we'll darken up this red on the guns because I'll come back later and do the edges with the same color, and it'll look good. So you don't need a different shade of red. You just hit it with the original one, and it's fine, fine. Already looking better. Looking real. Liquid talent. Good old Earthshade. It looks bad on purpose. Haven't decided if I'm going to do the hazard stripe thing on these chain swords. I did do it when I did the box for my other son's Space Wolves. His Assault Intercessors have hazard stripes on their chain swords. But I haven't decided if I want to do that again, or if I just wanted to leave these red. They almost look like Christmas Marines. They've got the red and the green and gold. It's very festive. Should keep that going. Salamanders for the holidays. The backpacks. Okay, I'm not super concerned about neatness, but try to keep it restrained a little bit. I don't want to go back over the green because we went through all that effort to pull it back out with the brush. I'm gonna work backwards. We're gonna go keep moving forward with the paint job, not retreat. To redo things you just did, to redo it because you redid it. Kids last day of school today. Should have a couple of weeks off. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the hobbying schedule. I have to play a lot of Minecraft here. My youngest is obsessed with Minecraft right now, so what that translates into is dad having to play Minecraft almost every day after school for several hours. Have any without helmets? You can make a green stuff beard. Not in this squad, but I do have others in the army that are without helmets. Yeah, typically I leave the helmets on just for ease of painting. Though there are quite a few Space Wolves that ended up being hatless because the younger child got to choose. I have yet to unpack most of the salamanders from the move, but as soon as I do get them all out, I can start showing them off again. Two biggest Warhammer armies I have are the Admech and Salamanders. They're probably close to 3,500 points worth of Salamander at this point. It's starting to pile up when you put Space Marines in every box set. They have a tendency to pile up. kind of feel bad for people who absolutely loathe Space Marines and refuse to paint them. Like every single box seems to have Space Marines in it, except of course the most recent one being a notable exception with the Gene Stealer Cult and Custodes, but I think that might reinforce the point rather than pull from it. So you just end up with Space Marines. And so we paint them and we have armies even if we don't play them. It's just a state of things. Fire effect is done. Drying, which is awesome. Forgot to do this inside area. Alright, so let's do the tips. I'm going to do a kind of a faux dry brush here. Use the Patraxi. Oh, I'll use the white. Praxetti white? No. Close enough. Paper towel. Use the cardboard. I'm going to hit the flame effect with the white, but do it in a very gentle way. If this brush is dirty. Try to be very gentle with it, so not to overpower. Just do the edges. The idea is to just catch the tips, the very, very edge, the white. See if that's noticeable on camera. So just catching the very edges to accent the fire. We'll call that good. Close enough for government work. Let's get that. Getting a new paper towel down here. We just might get our downstairs today. Who knows? We're got a maybe out of the contractor. So we might be able to get things done today. Who knows for sure though. Right. So I'm going to do the brazier. I haven't done very much green stuff sculpting. That's a little out of my wheelhouse. Done a few bases with green stuff and a roller. Where's that roller? Ooh. But generally I try to avoid having to do any actual sculpting. My mom is actually an artist and she does lots of sculptures. I'm in awe of what they can do. But I don't think I have that gift. Maybe I could develop it, but for now, If I was being super fancy with this, I'd probably break out the airbrush and do some OSL. We'll see how I feel about that later. Let's get a little closer to being done. Let's use some red ink. I'm working up to getting there. Come along. Not too shabby. Bust the supports off here. Get them on the Marines. That'll feel pretty good. Feel like we got progress done. Got some progress today. Before that, we need to hit it with the green. Cover up our little seam there. So if you're curious about the color on the salamander, it's the scale 75 Arati green. It's a good one. I'm a big fan of scale 75 because their paints are so flat, and I like working with flat stuff until it's done, and then I can choose what gets glossy and what doesn't. Hit this with the green real quick, and I'll should probably darken it, but it's not super visible, so we'll see if I can get away with just leaving it partially done there. So it's not going to be seen anyway. I don't want to put a whole lot of effort into it, but I do want to hit one of the power cables in there, just to make it look real. There's my blue. A blue wire and a green wire. Here's a bright blue, a crystal blue from Army War Painter. Just a little tiny bit to do the little cable on the inside of their jump packs, their power packs. Haircut. Oh, the fun of slowly going bald. Gotta enjoy it. Gotta enjoy it. Alright, a little bit of blue. And use our maximum effort brush. Insane detail. You know it's insane because it's properly labeled. Must be insane, or it wouldn't be properly labeled. Now, it's not going to be super visible when it's on the back of the Marine, but sometimes you have to do things just because you'll know they're there. And if you can see it at just the right angle, then it's a nice little tiny bit of color and a nice little detail. talk and do the little stuff at the same time here. Multitask. So how about that local sports team? Aren't they good or terrible this year? Man, I really hope they either keep or get rid of their coach. It really is tough and or proud. Tough and or easy to be a fan this year. See? Work. There won't be a whole lot of sports commentary on this channel. Because I couldn't tell you who won the last Super Bowl. I couldn't tell you who won the last World Series. Or even when the World Series is played. It's a bit of a blind spot in my understanding of the world. Organized sport. Alright. Red cable. Blue cable, red cable. Which one do you cut? Clock is ticking. Tick tock. Tick tock, tick tock. One more for now, anyway. 7 more after that. This might have to be a continuing project. Let's see. I have a tendency to get distracted with new projects, as is often the case with hobbyers. I want to do something else for a while and come back and get lost and remember, oh yeah, remember that Seraphon army I was building that's woefully incomplete? A gigantic dinosaur that's only half painted. Though I'm going to blame that one on the move. I'm having to move across the state has a tendency to distract you from mindless hobbying. Get the crater in there. I think we got to we'll finish the crater and then put the Space Marines in the crater. But I'm going to do this resin crater like this, so they'll match. So when I take the photos of these, I'll have this with it, so they'll look pretty cool next to it, or in it. But I have to reprime it black because it got some white on it. And oh well. Still looks neat. I have to print some more of those for when we actually get the gaming table set up and can actually play the game, which would be nice. Alright, should we let's get the backpacks on. That'll feel good. Let's do a test fit. He's looking pretty swank. He's got his breezer on there. Go big or go home. Go salamander or go home. Get that on there. So that really reinforces the need to do backpacks separately. Like, there was no way to be able to do the wiring in the back behind this helmet if it was attached. So, he's looking pretty good. I have to fix his helmet and do the shield on the front and some other detail work, do some shading stuff, and it will be pretty much done. Where'd it go? There it is. Now, probably should have waited a little bit, because it's going to make doing these a little bit more challenging, but I just wanted to get the backpacks on today. Feel like you're productive. Feel like you're getting stuff done. Looking good. Starting to look like salamanders. Slowly but surely. I had a little bit of white on there. Maybe we could do the dragon today. And white got all wet. We need white. You do the dragon on the shoulder, and then we'll call that good for the day. At least for now. Get lunch. Maybe come back after lunch. Be super productive and stream twice in one day. That'd be something. Alright, for the Dragon Skull Pro Acryl Bold Titanium White, I'm going to use the Insane Detail Brush again. And see if we can't put in our maximum effort on the shoulder pads and get that dragon in there. Focus. Focus. There we go. Let's see if I can do this. No dust. So it really helps that the Pro Acryl White is such a pigment-rich paint that I'm not going to have to go back over this very many times. I might do one more coat over the top, but it's at about 85 to 90% there on the first coat, even over black, which makes doing salamander shoulder pads a lot easier. Before this, trying to do white over black, if you've done any sort of painting at all, you know that's an exercise in frustration. So. Shaky hand today. A little shaky today. Pretty good. Now he looks like Salamander. Now there's no confusion. Anyone who sees that is gonna know. These are not Dark Angels. Are our boys from Nocturne. Awesome. Looking good. Got our shoulder pad now. What I have planned for this side is not to leave it black, but to do a fire effect. So either a painted on one with like actual freehand painting, or I might do a wet blend like I did for the fire, where blending the yellow and the red together in the middle, and that'll be, we'll see. I might try that first and see how it looks, and if it doesn't work, then I might do the shift to the freehand flames, as has been done before in various other artists. We'll put him there so you can actually see. If anybody wanders in, they can know what we're working on. If my gigantic hand holding the salamander isn't obvious enough. Son and I have been playing Minecraft pretty consistently. He's been super into it lately. And so almost every day after school we have to play for an hour or two. And he was very excited because yesterday we found his first diamond. Finally got down deep enough. There was a recent update that patched the game to make the world a lot deeper. So getting down to where there were diamonds took a while. And there were lots of caves and dangerous things in the way that kept us from getting to it. But finally got his first diamonds, and got a diamond pick in the process. So it's all good. So he's excited to play again today. Have to budget that time. They've added a lot to the game, because I played it a long time ago, back when it was before pre-Microsoft ownership. It was a lot more basic game back then. All sorts of different types of blocks that they've added since then that weren't in the game before. So I'm kind of learning it all over again as I play. It's kind of fun. And he's having a ball, of course, which was the ultimate purpose. He's having fun, learning stuff. Alright, 2 down. 2 down, 1 to go, and then 7 more after that. Call it good after this. Blow it off. I'm not going to miss the construction dust. That's something I will not miss. It seems to get everywhere. Big stuff happening next week. Hopefully, if we get the downstairs room finished, then we will be able to play games and set up like actual good photo dioramas. And what I want to do is set up kind of narrative type videos where I can use models to tell a story. I think that will be an interesting thing to attempt if people like it. Keep doing it. But being able to use a model once it's already painted, because I already have so many that are already done. I want to start putting them to use. Not just playing, but being creative with them. Alright, we're good. There's 3 shoulder pads with salamanders on them. Looking good. So I'm not going to say these are done, obviously, but they're definitely getting close. So I'll probably end up working on them tonight and get these 3 done. We'll call it good. We got the shield, got some detail work. The gold needs a wash. So lots of little things, and of course edge work on the green, which will be kind of the last step, and then of course the shoulder pads. So maybe another night's worth of work to get this done. But either way, I'll most likely have these up as a video, as a separate, like, painting a Salamander Space Marine video on Monday. Don't typically release like actual try-hard videos on weekends, because they get no views and they just die a quiet death. I won't break my neck trying to get them out tonight. They do. Well, thank you. I think they're turning out. They're looking pretty good. Definitely better than what I should do is find the box that has the first salamanders that I ever painted and do a comparison shot, because I still have a lot to learn, obviously, from painting, but definitely heads and heels above where I was 3 or 4 years ago now. So pretty jazzed about what we can do on the stream. So I hate to leave, but I'm getting hungry, and I have some snow to go scrape off of the front drive, so I'm going to go and be an adult for a few hours. So thank you for coming out. Steven, thank you again for that very generous gift. I'm going to have to download that game and get it all ready. Maybe I'll stream it later. And I haven't played a good JRPG in a long time, so it'll be I appreciate it. So thank you again. Anyone else who's here and on, thank you for coming out. Be safe, be awesome, make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.